Hey guys, welcome to the Mother Figures podcast. I'm Caitlin Darkangelo, founder and co-owner of FIGR, Midwestern wife and girl mom. I'm a dual certified pregnancy and postpartum trainer, earned my degree in exercise science from the University of Michigan, and have been coaching for over a decade. This podcast dives into all things pregnancy and postpartum fitness, especially in how to navigate strength and intensity training in these seasons. Whether you're in it yourself, trying to get pregnant, or coaching this population, you are in the right place. I'm excited to share personal experiences, client stories, guest interviews, and evidence-based strategies to give you the guidance, insights, and clarity needed to navigate these seasons with confidence. And with that, let's get rolling. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Mother Figures podcast. Today, I just want to go a little bit into my own background and history in the fitness world, how I got to where we are right now, a little bit of the background of FIGR, our company in general, and then also what I am currently up to, just so we can get to know each other, or maybe you've been around for a while and just are curious how FIGR got its start and how we got here, just so we can, have a little friendship from the very beginning and learn each other. And I am excited to, know you guys too. So I'd love to have you guys reach out too. And just excited to, build a little friendship here. So, pretty much fitness has been a part of my life since I could walk or remember. My parents put us all, I'm one of 4 kids, in gymnastics since, the time we could walk at like 1 year old. And then I was never not in a sport until college. Softball was my main sport. I did cheer a little bit. I was more on the tumbling gymnastics side of cheer. But you can see like pictures of me and my brother and my mom doing like step aerobics or Taibo DVDs in the late 90s. And so fitness has just always been a part of what I have been involved with and what my family has been involved with. My mom was a high-level gymnast. My dad played every single sport in the book during his high school career. They both were avid workouters all in my childhood. And so that's just what our family dynamic is and has always been. And so I have never known a life without fitness. And that's something I'm really thankful for, just having that background and that ideology since birth. So I played softball. That was my primary sport, but I always loved the workouts, practices, conditioning more than the games, which I always thought was super weird, but now it totally makes sense. I just always loved the fitness aspect of sport, not the sport itself per se. Obviously I love the sport too, but love the gym even more. So in high school, one of my first jobs was working at Title Boxing at the front desk. And I remember one time the main trainer, I think he broke his hand or foot. I forget which one it was, but I was the sub for him. So he did the instructing and then I would show the movements to the class. And that was my first experience coaching, even though I wasn't actually coaching. I was just demoing, but I was just a front desk staff member. I loved fitness, so I wanted to work at a fitness place at the time, but that was my first experience in front of a class. And it was just really hyped for me. I was really excited about it. And I just really knew I wanted to be in the fitness world, even from the very few first jobs that I had dating back to high school. So when I went to college, I got accepted into the University of Michigan. I decided to go into the School of Kinesiology and study movement science, which is just a fancy term for exercise science. And it was my freshman year in college at the University of Michigan. There's a apartment or the dorm complex called The Hill. And on the Hill, there's a bunch of different dorm rooms. And there's also the community rec center. And so I was so excited that there was just an entire gym just for us college kids. And it was only a 2-second walk away from my dorm. And so I started doing 2-a-days in my freshman year where I would run in the morning before classes at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And then I would go to classes, do all my stuff. And then at some point in the day, I would have a full lifting session. And I just became so obsessed with the gym. I just loved it. And so instead of the freshman 15, I did the reverse and started working out twice a day just because it was so cool for me. So I was, again, at college. I was in this school of kinesiology. I knew I loved fitness, wanted to just do something in that world, but didn't know what. So I remember keeping a journal next to my bedside and just always writing down random ideas. A lot of them were for like app-based stuff around tracking workouts and habits, not necessarily writing out workout programs or workouts specifically, but I was just trying to write down any idea that could spark a business that I could then build in the fitness world. So that was just always on my brain. And so this was 10 years ago in 2015. And it was in my sophomore year that I saw so this was all kind of going on in my head in the background. Like, I want to do something in fitness. I just don't know what. In my sophomore year in 2015, I saw an ad to start your own fitness business online. And I was like, that is super cool. I want to do that. It ended up being a Beachbody ad. I had no idea that this person was a Beachbody coach. And I just signed up because I was like, this is really cool. It was kind of the start of network marketing world, or like just the rise of it. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made that got me to where I am now. It really taught me that I loved learning the business side of things. I always knew I loved fitness, but this was my first experience being like, holy crap, I love business. I love coaching. I love like running the challenge groups. I love it literally felt like a video game to me, except for I was making real money and making a real impact and working with real people. And I just like could not get enough of it. So when people were going out on the weekends or at night, like I remember sitting in my room, I'm like, I would way rather work on this. Like this feels literally like a video game to me that is just super impactful, not in my own life in college when you're like struggling financially. I'm like making real money, but I also get to like help my friends and grow a brand. And so that was my first real experience of, oh, this is my own thing, my own business, and I am starting to make money from this. So that was super exciting. And so I did that sophomore and junior year. By my senior year, this is 2017 now, I just had this like gut feeling that I could make my own thing. I love Beachbody, but I didn't want to just sell what everybody else did or do what everybody else did, I wanted to start my own brand, and I knew I had the knowledge and experience now from my undergrad degree, just being in the fitness industry from like an education side. I just felt like I still had more potential to give, or more that I could do with fitness and business together. But I knew I loved business just as much, if not more, than the fitness side. And I wanted to pursue that in a different way. And so I decided to step back from Beachbody. I stopped coaching I guess it was right around senior year. So it was 2017. And knowing now that I loved business just as much, I decided to pursue a master in the business world. And so I got accepted into the Master of Management program at Duke University, which was a one-year business master's for non-business majors, which fit exactly what I was looking to do. You could do it right out of undergrad. So right when I graduated from Michigan, I had a few week delay time. And then I moved out to North Carolina, went to Duke for a year to get really more of the business background, knowing that I really wanted to pursue my own fitness business in my life. So same thing kind of happened at Duke. I became obsessed with their gym now because it was a whole new space and it was like really exciting. I became like the workout girl that others would like ask me to go to the gym with them, or like ask me to work out with them and ask for workouts. And at one point, one of my friends asked me to write them a workout program. And although I never really thought about going that route, again, I was always kind of more on the business side of, I don't know, doing the business stuff. I decided what the heck and made a workout program. And a lot of people were interested. So I was like, like maybe this could be the start of something. I don't know what it is, but we'll see. So I decided to make a test group where like multiple people could try it. And so I created, I think it was like a 4-week program at the time, or a few workouts. And I just wanted to get feedback. I charged $5 per person, and I got about 20 people to do it. So I was like, yes, I'm like making $100, doing my own thing. Like, this is awesome. And so that was late 2017, kind of winter time. And that program or that test group ended up being my FIGR Lean program. And for those of you who have been here since the very beginning, you would remember that these were physical books with like the workout written in it and space for you to write your weights or write the movements and write your reps. And that was how FIGR started. So that was FIGR Lean. I launched that on January 1st of 2018. And it was also around that same time, right before I launched that test group, that I thought of the name Fit is Getting Real. So at this time, again, I'm knowing that I want to start my own fitness business. This guy asked me to write a workout program. And so I was trying to figure out a name. I remember sitting on the couch at my parents' house when I had come home for a weekend and just trying to figure out a name, couldn't figure it out. And I was just sitting there and I thought of the tagline, shit is getting real. I was like, oh my gosh, what if we made it like fit is getting real? And I just kept saying it over and over, fit is getting real, fit is getting real. I was like, yeah, I like that. So let's make the acronym FIGR. And so for months, I just called it FIGR or fit is getting real. And a few weeks, months, whatever it ended up being, I can't even remember now. My mom was like, oh, that like spells figure. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been saying it for weeks and months, and it FIGR says like the word figure, like, body figure or figure it out. Or I was like, this is genius. So the name kind of stuck from there. And that's what I used to then launch that test group program, which became FIGR Lean on January 1st of 2018. And I know starting a business can sound scary, especially if that's if you're in that situation right now, from like a capital perspective or like financing it. FIGR literally started. I am so conservative and cheap when it comes to expending money, and something I need to get better at mentally in business, but this is just how my brain works. And so those physical books, I found a free website at the time. It was called MagCloud, that I created. Was it on Adobe? Some software where I created the whole PDF document of FIGR Lean, like every line, every word, every color. Like I designed the whole thing, put it all together in a PDF. All you had to do was upload that PDF to this website. Customers would pay through that website and get the physical program shipped out to them. So I never had any inventory, and that the website was free. It was free to upload the PDF. The clients would pay for the program to get shipped out, and then I would just get the profit kickback. So from the very first program I sold, I was profitable without spending a single cent. And that was awesome to me because I was like, okay, we just need to get more people to buy it and the more profit. And I don't have to, obviously I had so much time built into the development of the PDF itself. Like I didn't pay anybody to create it, but I also love the creative side of that world. So it was kind of fun for me to create it anyways. But this made me very happy that I could find a platform to sell and not have to have the inventory, and kind of starting, from profit right off the bat. So that was all happening while I was at Duke. I graduated 5 months later in May of 2018. Again, it was only a 1-year program. And so I had launched FIGR Lean in January, and then FIGR Shred was my body weight only program. Same thing, physical program that we shipped out. Launched that in April or May. It was literally during my finals week that I launched the program. So I was like half working on my master's finals and half trying to sell FIGR Lean and FIGR Shred. So that was fun. But so I graduated in May, and then I moved to New York / New Jersey, like right on the Hudson River on the Jersey side, to work at Walmart corporate. And that was starting in July of 2018. So when I was at Duke, I went to a fair. They were hiring. It was called jet.com, but it was really like Walmart owned Jet. And it was a e-commerce platform. So I actually owned a part of the website and ran it as my own business. And so I actually learned so much by having the funding and the backing and the education and tools and training behind the Walmart ecosystem. It sounds kind of dumb to say you worked at Walmart, but they were the Fortune 1, they might still be, Fortune 1 company in the entire world. And to have that kind of training under my belt of how to run a piece of their business. So we did like pricing, we did promotions, we did marketing, we did collaboration with we did shipping, all the things. So as if it were my own business, that's how I ran a part of the website. And so that gave me even more business background to then apply to FIGR and really learn how to scale and grow and think about it more, intensely or more solidly than just like a side thing. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I could really apply this to FIGR and make it like a legit thing. So while I was working in New York, this was for a year. So this was July 2018 to like July 2019 or so. I would wake up at 5:45 a.m. I would go work out at Crunch Gym, which was next to our office, which was another hype thing because now it's like a public gym that I get to go to, but we got free memberships through our job at Walmart. So it was like, I don't know, it was just like another place where I'm like, oh, I just love the gym. Like, this is the greatest thing. And it was right next to our office too. So I would go work out from like 7 to 8:30ish, like really take my sweet old time. I would shower at Crunch, and then I would eat breakfast at the office. I would go to work like with my hair wet, which was totally not the vibe of New Yorkers, by the way. Like I stood out like a sore thumb. I was the Midwestern girl, and everybody else is like in these uppity, cute outfits, and I would just be coming in from the gym like hair wet. That was just a good memory, Anyway, so I would work from about like 9 to 6-ish. I would get home, eat, and then the rest of the night from like 7 to like midnight most nights, I'd just work on FIGR. So every second I could get, I was trying to grow clients and, grow those programs that I had. So at that point I had FIGR Lean, FIGR Shred, and then FIGR Elite, which was my like more intense workout program. So I had 3 physical programs at this time. I'd also like take lunch breaks by myself and go into like a little cubby, use my work computer to work on FIGR and, whatever I could do to grow my brand. So instead of like going out to eat with friends or going down to the lobby with friends, I would just remember sitting in my cubby and like going at it and taking literally any second I could to grow FIGR. I just knew this is what I wanted to do, but I needed the income of like a steady job at the time because again, I'm very conservative, very stingy when it comes to stuff. So I was like, I need as much security as I can. So I just saved up all the money I could from working at Walmart, and I like barely went out that night. Like I hated spending the $50 cover and the $20 drink and the $100 Uber ride back over to the New Jersey side, and it just didn't fit my idea of fun. And I was just even more excited on the weekends to keep working on FIGR. So I just literally found every time I could, saved every dollar I could while working out there. Obviously, I was alone at the time. At this time, actually, Anthony was playing professional American football out in Germany. So we were just dating at this time. And so it was kind of funny. Like we had like a 6-7 hour time difference. I think it was 6 hours. And so he would like our schedules were super weird. So like I feel like he was either sleeping when I was working or vice versa. And so I just really used this time of my solidarity almost to like use it to grow FIGR. So within a few months of New York, I knew I didn't want to stay in New York. I was not a New Yorker. I was a very much so Midwestern girl. But I had to stay a year to keep my signing bonus. So I had to stay until July 2019. And I remember Anthony coming that day, last day of work, coming and picking me up with a U-Haul trailer. We packed up the trailer. We drove back home because he was done with his season at that time. And when we got back home, I was like, okay, here we go. So that was July 2019. In August 2019, so like 2 months, July, August, oh my goodness, 1 month later, is when he proposed to me. We were in California. That's a whole nother story. And we officially made FIGR our thing. So he joined me on board in around October of 2019. So that's when we made our first apparel and started like kind of marketing together. We started our Instagram Fit is Getting Real page, and it wasn't just my thing anymore. It was like a company now with both of us involved. So him being super fit and an athlete, and he had coached at Ferris State as well prior to playing professionally. He had family friends who wanted him to train them. And at the time, I was living at my parents, he was living at his parents when we moved back from our separate places. And we asked my parents if we could use their home gym just to do like these one-on-one friends and family training stuff. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So Anthony started training one of his family friends. And then my mom's friends were going on a bike trip to Italy that they wanted to be strong for. So then her friends asked me if I would start training them twice a week. And I said, sure. And that is literally how we started in-person training at FIGR. So that was at my parents' house. It was friends, like very close family friends, very close, people in the neighborhood or whatever. And we trained in my parents' house in their basement just because it was an open space. It was the only space we had, and we had interest because we had grown FIGR from the online perspective, and we're like, all right, now we're in the in-person training business. So we trained, this was 2019 now, fall, winter 2019. Then we get to COVID, which was March of 2020. Obviously, everybody knows that. And we cut classes till about May-ish. Again, we were in my parents' gym, so we kind of had a lot of say in how we ran things during COVID, and it was up to the clients if they wanted to join or come back or not, whatever. And during that time is when we worked on pivoting to the FIGR app, which we had already been kind of conceptualizing and knowing that we wanted to do for a while. We still had our physical programs at the time, and we really wanted to get into the app world. And COVID kind of gave us that freedom of time and, just time literally to go and try to make that a thing. So in it was June of 2020, we launched the FIGR app and we moved all of our programming into app form. We ended up then getting married in July 2020, which was another story for another day, but crazy trying to rearrange a wedding during COVID. It was nuts. And then we moved into an apartment in August of 2020, so a month later. And then we would commute, it was like only 10 minutes or so, back to my parents to train clients in the mornings and in the evenings. And then that is also when we started building our house which broke ground in 2021, early 2021. And so when we knew that we were going to build a house, we really wanted to keep that close-knit family, friends, really high-touch style training in our hands. Like that's what we really loved and capitalized on. And so we knew when we were creating our house that we wanted our house layout to fit the official FIGR gym in our basement. So we made our house an L shape. We dug underneath the garage. And so the whole like left side of our basement is just one giant rectangle. And we created, obviously the other part of the house is also functional, but we were really excited about the shape of the house for the gym purpose. So that is when we started building what we now train out of, which is the official FIGR gym, so that we would no longer have to train out of my parents. And then so we broke ground in early 2021. In March of 2021, around the same time, we also found out that we were pregnant with our first. And so we were living at my parents at the time. We were building a house, and it was just like a super exciting time. And I had always known that when I got pregnant, I was going to get really interested in the fitness side of things, but you just don't know until you're pregnant yourself, because there is the knowledge and education side of pregnancy, but then there's also the emotional, like, oh my gosh, I'm living this experience side of it. And I knew I was going to be interested. I had a feeling, but the second I got pregnant, I was like head over heels for this space. I initially got super pissed actually at how little information there was for pregnant moms who wanted to keep lifting. It's like kind of rough now, like in 2025, but it's getting better. But even 4 years ago in 2021, it was like so bad. Like there was no information, no guidance. It was so strict. This was also before like Instagram Reels, and it was just right after TikTok had just kind of started taking off. So there was very little even social media presence of like women lifting during pregnancy. And it was just a crazy eye-opening thing that when I first became pregnant, I'm like, holy crap, there's literally nothing. And also I kind of got pissed from a different angle too. I was like, I've been coaching for 6 years. I took a 4-year undergraduate degree from the number one public university in exercise science. And I have not been taught anything about pregnancy, postpartum fitness, let alone like women's health at all. And so I just became so invested. I became head over heels with anything I could get my hands on. I just knew this was going to be my thing. There was so little research to work with. So a lot of it was just, what am I experiencing? What am I feeling? And trying to guide based on my individualized symptoms, which we are finally now getting research that everything should be more personalized versus blanket statements, which I have been preaching since 2021, but research is finally coming out to back up my crazy brain at the time. So in terms of like pregnancy, I went super smooth. I'll go into multiple podcasts about like my whole experience with like pelvic pains and stuff like that. But from overall, like super smooth pregnancy, super smooth labor and delivery experience. I went unmedicated. I only had about 2 hours of labor pains total, no tearing, no complications, no postpartum issues. And after lifting heavy and kind of going against a lot of what the medical advice was saying at the time of like, don't raise your heart rate and don't lift over blah, 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 and don't do lying on your back exercises. Once I did all of that during my own pregnancy, and then I had such a positive labor, delivery, and baby outcome, I'm like, okay, there is so much more that needs to go into this field to make sure that moms aren't fearful of this kind of stuff and just go into more individualized approaches. And so after having my baby too, which is Amelia, I just even got more passionate of like, oh, I'm just like so mad that like so many moms are told X, Y, and Z. And like there's so much better advice out there. And so that's kind of like the start of, the pregnancy and postpartum world. So that was all of 2021, pregnancy with Amelia. She was born Thanksgiving Day, November 25th of 2021. And then I'm kind of like skipping around here now. But so she was born November, postpartum happened, obviously. And during that time too, I got super passionate about obviously the recovery side of things, realizing how much there was to do with core and pelvic floor health. And that got me really excited from the postpartum perspective. So it was really going through all of that myself to bring my own awareness to area like shortcomings in the field, and just being really excited to be able to help moms in that side of things too. So that was when I started officially getting my certifications in. So I started my Girls Gone Strong CSCS. Sorry, not CSCS. What is it? I forget what the word is for it. Anyways, that I started in October of 2021 when I was pregnant with Amelia. I finished when I was 12 weeks postpartum with Amelia. So I was doing my certification while I was pregnant and postpartum, which was really cool to apply the education I was getting at the time to my own pregnant and postpartum body. And then I launched my FIGR pregnancy and FIGR postpartum programs right around the same time. So like 12, 15-ish weeks. I can't remember exactly how far postpartum. It was all kind of a blur. That's when I released my FIGR pregnancy, FIGR postpartum programs through our app. And that's when I got just like super in depth into the field. So fast forward a little bit into August 2022, that's when we officially moved into our FIGR gym, which is what you probably see on Instagram now. That's the gym in our basement. And since then, over the last 3 years, we've grown in that space in our general fitness classes, and then also in pregnancy, postpartum for myself. And then my husband, Anthony, does the athletic training side of things. So in a nutshell, Anthony runs his men's classes in the mornings, does small group athletic training from 8-year-olds all the way to, professional athletes. I run daily ladies classes, so they're kind of like functional fitness based, where like 90% of my ladies are pregnant or motherhood or, have kids. That's just kind of the demographic I now attract for my general fitness classes. And then on top of my functional fitness classes, my daily class, I do a postpartum return to fitness class 4 times a year. So I'll take moms from, who are just returning to fitness, and we go through a very structured 6-week course from core and pelvic floor recovery into body weight work, and then building them all the way into like impact skill work, heavy weights and things like that. On top of that, I also do BYOBs, which is bring your own baby, mom and baby classes, where I program the workout to that your baby is your weight for the workout, which is super fun. I mentioned I have my app-based programs, FIGR Pregnancy, FIGR Postpartum, which is part of the Mother Figures subscription. And then I also have a core lab, which is a video module series where I teach you the how of how to engage your core, how to properly do a pelvic floor contraction, how to time it out with different exercises, and just like how to approach all kinds of core movements in a structured and appropriate way that makes it more effective. So it's not just what you do, but it's how you do it. And that's what the core lab goes into. I also have been hired to host mom fitness classes and workshops at things like local school districts or companies or moms clubs around the area. And then I also just recently created my Mother Figures certification, which is for coaches and providers who work with this population and need the background and the education of, coaching this population and giving them the tools and the certification to be able to do so. So that's kind of in a nutshell the last, 10 years since Beachbody and bringing us all the way to kind of what I do now. Also, and this is content that I'll get into full podcast about, but from 2022 until now, or 2023, I guess, we had a 2-year trying to conceive journey for this baby that I'm now pregnant with. So I'm 23 weeks along right now, almost 24. And due date is January 6th of 2026. So I had a long trying to conceive journey. We had a miscarriage within that. And that was actually one of the inspirations of starting this podcast, because then that opened my eyes to a whole nother realm of motherhood, which is the trying to conceive and loss space. So not only is there the pregnancy that I was super passionate about sharing, the postpartum, obviously, and then there's the whole, the messy middle ground. And so I'm excited to be able to have this podcast now to go into depth to hopefully shed some more light on those areas that aren't as talked about or more, shadowed in the Instagram world. And that's just kind of where I'm at now. So currently expecting baby number 2. And everything is awesome. FIGR is going really well. It's like the best thing. Like, I'm just so proud of where we've built it to this point. And obviously I'm always striving to build it bigger and reach more people and help more people out, especially now that I'm in the pregnancy postpartum space, which there's so much room to grow and, lead moms in the right direction. And that's kind of, how we got here in a nutshell. And then just some fun random things about me outside of fitness, which honestly is not a lot because fitness is so intertwined in just like my DNA and who I am, and is honestly one of the biggest parts of me. But in addition to fitness, some of the things that define me, I feel like I'm pretty nerdy, or like not extroverted. I'm pretty introverted. So things I love doing in my free time, playing the piano. I love doing puzzles. I love doing those like adult coloring books with like the really little lines and the really sharp pens. I love reading. Harry Potter is like my thing. I've always been a huge nerd. I remember being on the bus in 2nd grade, and instead of sitting in the back and like hanging out with everybody, I would read in the front seat of the bus, like with the bus driver. Just little things like that. I'm like, okay, now everything is making sense about who I am. So yeah, that's what I would love to do in my free time. I am very reserved when I'm extroverted when I'm in person and training and like with people. And then when I'm not with people, I'm very like, I need time to myself and I need to just be in a quiet space. So that's one piece. I hate chocolate and peanut butter and coffee, and I lose a lot of friends when I tell people that, but that is also a sense birth thing. And so that's just something that I feel like everybody's like, what? You don't like chocolate or peanut butter or coffee? And it's always big, conversation topic. Within another thing is within my siblings and my in-laws, there are 10 of us. So my husband is one of 6. I am one of 4. And these are my people. These are who I hang out with pretty much all the time. It's really fun, especially 2 of Anthony's siblings have multiple kids as well. So we have going to be 9 kids under 5 on Anthony's side of the family. So we do a lot of family activities. That's just who our people are. Everybody lives by us for the most part. And so I love hanging out with my siblings and Anthony's siblings. And we just have a fun time as a big happy family. And then in terms of like TV series, I'm not a TV watcher. In the last, 5 years, the only shows I've watched, or the ones that I'm obsessed with, are Survivor, Young Sheldon, and The Chosen. And that's just a fun fact about me. I don't know. I'm not a huge TV person, but I will religiously watch all of those shows. So that is me. That is how I got here in a nutshell. That is FIGR's conception and how Anthony joined on, and now, kind of what we're doing. And I'm just really excited. Well, I guess, first of all, if you've been here since those Beachbody days when we ran challenge groups and Instagram was just becoming a thing, like, thank you for being here the whole time. That is just so special to me that, if you do remember the physical programs or the Beachbody days, like, you guys are the true MVPs, and just thank you for still being here. And it's really cool to be able to grow with you guys alongside me. So just a side note there. But yeah, I'm just really excited to get this podcast going and kind of enter my next phase of business and of motherhood and of sharing, more truths and more knowledge and experience from the pregnancy, postpartum fitness side of the world. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions or have any similarities and want to chat, like, reach out to me literally anytime. I'm mostly on Instagram at Kate Darko Fit. Obviously, you can message me anywhere you find me, but really excited to get to know you guys too. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Mother Figures podcast. If these episodes help or resonate with you in any way, it would be so helpful to the show if you could leave a review so we can get this into more moms' hands. And if you're looking for even more guidance and direction when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum fitness, I got you covered. My Mother Figures app subscription includes my FIGR pregnancy and FIGR postpartum workout programs, in addition to our general fitness programs. You'll get the day-by-day workouts you need to help you feel strong, pain-free, and labor-ready during pregnancy, and also the recovery, strength, and progressions you'll need to get back to the activities you love, full of strength and without symptoms after baby arrives. If you're local to the Brighton, Michigan area, I also host daily women's functional fitness classes, a 6-week postpartum return to fitness course, and pregnancy and postpartum consultation sessions. For those who are providers, coaches, or practitioners in the space, I hold a live Mother Figures certification course that equips you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to train and work with this population. For information on all of these services and programs, make sure to check out fitisgettingreal.com/moms or head to the show notes for the direct link. I'm so thankful that you tuned in to today's episode, and I will catch you next time.